Take your Bibles and turn to John chapter 15. John chapter 15. We've been in a new series of messages called A Simple Plan. It's all based on one verse, Luke 6:46, where Jesus asked the question, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I say?" John 14:15, he said, "If you love me, you will show it by doing what I've told you." We've been challenging you to live a life, first of all, of intentional intimacy. An expert in the law came to Jesus in Mark chapter 12, and he said, "Of all the commandments, what's the most important one?" And he said, "Love the Lord your God with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your heart and with all your strength." We've challenged you to live a life of wholehearted surrender. Why? Because lukewarm is not okay. Half-hearted is not okay. Jesus said in Revelation 3:16, "So because you're lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to spit you out of my mouth." Lukewarm makes Jesus sick. So why would we encourage anyone to live a life or do anything that would make Jesus sick? We can't. Talked about Luke chapter 9, verses 57 to 62, where Jesus interacted with three men. All of them called him Lord, but they all said, "Me first." One said, "I'll follow you." And Jesus said, "But birds of the air have nests and foxes have holes. The Son of Man has no place to lay his head." The previous context in Luke chapter 9 was that they had been denied lodging in a Samaritan village. And Jesus was saying, "Look, if you follow me, it's not going to be about comfort and convenience." He was interested in personal comfort. The second guy was interested in personal fortune. He said, "Well, Lord, let me first go bury my father." Jesus said, "Let the dead bury the dead." That doesn't make sense unless you understand that in the Greek, he said, "Let the spiritually dead bury the physically dead." His dad wasn't even dead yet. He was saying, "Let me wait until my dad dies. I'll get the inheritance. I'll have lots of money. Then I'll really be ready to follow you." Third guy said, "Lord, let me first go home and say goodbye." Not bad to say goodbye, but the point was that this man's heart was not fully committed to the Lord. It was easy for them to say Lord. All three of them said Lord, and then they said me first. How does that work? It doesn't. We talked about three areas where there are people today, there are Christians today, who are calling Jesus Lord, and yet they are still saying me first. We talked about time. We talked about talent. We talked about treasure. How much of your time belongs to God? He's the giver of time. He gives us our life. So 1 hour a week? 1 day a week? How much belongs to Him? All of it. Pastor, you don't understand. The time demands of my job. I've got so much going. You want God to take your job away? You know what a lot of people figure out in their old age? Number one, they figure out they didn't have enough money. Listen, if you're not putting money into retirement, you're making a huge mistake. $1 today is worth 10 then. 10 now is worth 100 then. 100 now is worth 1,000 then. You need to be putting money into retirement. So, I just trust the Lord to take care of me. Do you know how many people I know that live with that kind of life and the day they're miserable? The Lord's not going to give